Hello, hello, hello. It is July 5th, 2025. This is story number 17. I'm going to crank this out pretty fast, I think. Unshaved today, unshowered. Just got done with probably being out here for at least an hour and a half, speaking to the park ranger and then speaking to one of the employees, Forest Preserve employees, just trying to find some things out about out here in the water pump and whatnot. The birds are chirping. It's peaceful. It's quiet. There's turkey vultures everywhere. And a lot of stuff is just still coming online, even though it's about probably 12 o'clock, maybe Central Standard Time. I don't know. Anyhow, here's the story. I want to say around September or October of 2022, I was literally just sitting out in my driveway, looking east, looking over, the homes in the subdivision. And as I've stated many times before, there is always air traffic, whether it's local air traffic from the little runway where people fly their own little personal planes in the neighborhood. And a lot of that traffic usually dies down between like 8 and 10 o'clock, from what I've noticed. Some of the smaller airports around, there's traffic flying at a lower altitude. And then there's the O'Hare traffic, the traffic flying in, the traffic flying out, the traffic flying over. There's all sorts of traffic. And like I said, there's 3 levels. There's like amateur, there's like private, and then there's like, consumer class or whatever you want to call it. So I'm sitting outside and, you see little planes taking off and changing course and altering their direction or way up top, and you see the lights, the little blinking lights, the red, the green, the white. You hear some noises, you can see, the shape, the design, the wings, the fuselage, whatever. So I'm sitting there one night, and all of a sudden a huge glow, a huge ball of energy, what I would call like white chrome, silver chrome, a little bit of a blue, purple, Persimian plasma, all of a sudden just pops up, and it catches my attention. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, that plane is changing course and veering in a different path. And I'm just catching all the lights, where did that plane come from? It came out of nowhere. And that can happen when you're just sitting outside minding your own business at night. There's literally planes moving around everywhere. So as I, watch this huge, massive sphere of light kind of appear and then kind of disappear and then be gone, I was like, okay, where did the plane go? What direction is the plane going? Is it coming at me? Is it going away? What's the course that it's on? Because I can't even see the plane anymore. I don't see the lights flashing. I never saw the red and the green lights, but I don't see them now. I don't see them coming into view or coming out of view or, dissipating or reappearing. And then I just realized it was gone. And at first I kind of just, figured it was a plane, and I just lost track of it. And then the more I thought about it, I go, that was another sphere, another orb, another plasma orb, another UAP, something coming into view and then just disappearing. So I kind of let it go, and I kind of chalked it up for what it was. A month or two earlier, as I have stated in one of these videos, me and my partner at the time had been sitting outside looking in the same vicinity, same time of night roughly, same season roughly. And we had the huge boom, boom, balls of light come down. And before we knew it, and we were wondering what the hell that was, it happened on the other side. Boom, boom. So it was probably something for both of us. It was probably an attunement, a download, an upgrade, an activation. Something for the divine masculine and the divine feminine and the codes and imprints and, things that we carry. And I don't say that egoically. I say it because it's true. And maybe I was just receiving something else when I was out there by myself, and that orb, that sphere, that chrome, purple, blue, somewhat Persimian ball popped up and then just faded out and disappeared. And I thought it was a plane. So, moving forward, I kind of just let it go, and I may have mentioned something to her, and that was that. It wasn't until last year, 2024, when I started journaling all these experiences to really put it down in print and do some drawings and, come up with, like I said, more nouns, more adjectives, more analogies, more verbs, more understanding, that I realized, that it definitely was a UAP. And I say that because when I was journaling, all of a sudden that story popped up in my head one day. I was at Dunkin' Donuts doing my journaling after my hikes, my workouts. I go in there, grab a beverage, cool off, hang out. It's quiet as hell in there. And Spirit was like, that counts. That counts as an experience. Make sure you journal it. So the message today on this short video and this short upload is that it's so easy to write these experiences off. It's so easy to forget about them. It's so easy to dismiss them, or to sometimes let other people dismiss it for us or write it off for us or convince us, we're crazy or we're just seeing a light or it was definitely a plane or you saw a lightning bug. The people who just can't, consciously think beyond what's right in front of them and what the government or their religion or, other things tell them to do, like the news. So a little bit of a rant there, but if you can't think for yourself, if you can't tap into your emotions and your feelings or your higher self or your inner knowing, your intuition, then yeah, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to understand it. It's probably not going to come to you, or you're going to write it off. But if you sit with it, and you think about it, and you ponder it, and you journal it, which I didn't do right away, you may reveal a little bit more, or you may hear your team talking to you, or you may get, a hit reminding you of why it wasn't a plane or a lightning bug or a firework or something of that nature. So this is just a little bit of a shorter story. And I had looked at this in the journal once or twice in the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, this will be an easy story to tell. But the bigger picture is to maybe start writing this stuff down, journaling it, voice recording it on your phone, even doing a quick little video. Because the more you capture, the more you write down, the more you remember, the more you put together, the more sense it might make. And then, like I said, you may get that confirmation from your team. You may get that confirmation in the way of a song or a TV show or a movie or a newspaper clipping or, something somebody brings up to you out of nowhere. It's that divine synchronicity, right? It's that coincidence, which is like, how do you explain that? It's not a coincidence. It's a synchronicity. And I just had these again last week in my Reiki class, and one of the individuals was telling some stories that pertain to them, and it's all synchronicity. It's all divine timing. It's stuff that this individual could not have made up or put together any better, all of which can be factually checked. And then that's the synchronicity of it. That's the beauty of the universe, right? That's the magic. And when you have a couple of these happen, or a couple hundred, or a couple thousand of these experiences happen over time, not just UAPs and UFOs, other synchronicities, you begin to really look at it. And you look it up, and you're like, what's the spiritual meaning? What's the animal totem? What's the numerology mean? What are the planets telling me? Yada, 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 yada. So do your research, do your homework, look it up, look into it, share it, post it. Find other people online who can help you understand it or help explain it. And that's just another reason for some of these videos. So they're not all little green men, right? And they're not all stories of actual metallic discs flying through the sky, nor do I have videos of this stuff happening. I would say almost all of this stuff has happened when I don't have my phone with me. Not all of it, but most of it. And a lot of it is just when you're consciously out there connecting, or you're connected, or you're open, or you're into receiving, or your vibration or your consciousness is at that level. So I've been carrying my phone with me a lot more in the last couple of weeks, partially because I just want to recap nature. It gives me something to do and tell stories online. I like to share the beauty because the world needs it right now. And we've got a lot of other craziness going on. But this is, my church. It's where I connect. It's where I receive a lot of my messages. It's where I refuel. It's where I replenish. And it's how Mother Earth and all of these, elemental beings of light and angelic beings of light and ascended masters of light communicate with me when I'm not in a meditation, a healing, an indoor workout, a group meditation, a regression, or all the other things you do where you're in a little bit more of a concentrated ohm state. Sorry, I'm watching a centipede in the grass over there. But that's story number 17, and I hope you can dig it. Peace, love, and light to all of you. I hope you are all well, and have a blessed summer. Peace out.